Hello, everybody. Happy not only with the win, but the way the guys played. We had better players than they do. Everybody knew that coming into the game. The question was, would you dominate the game like you're supposed to? And at times in the past, programs do not. You play really, really well against a Notre Dame, and then you stand around and do nothing the next week, and then the following week, you have Miami. So this was a great opportunity for our guys to stand around and be flat and not play with intensity, and I thought we did. We did exactly what we needed to do in this game like we did last year against Mercer. We dominated the first half. For the first time in my 32 years as a head coach, I didn't start the first offense to start the second half. I've always done that to start the third quarter, and today I just thought we were far enough ahead. They weren't going to score enough points. The game was over, so we needed to see a lot of the other guys. So everybody on the team played, to my knowledge. We tried to get everybody on the field to make sure that this was a special day for not only the seniors, but everybody else that was involved. So after the game in the dressing room, I told the guys that last year you won 7 games. And at this point, you still had to win another game to try to get to a bowl game, because we weren't even bowl eligible till our last game. So now with 2 games left, you've already won 7, so we're making progress. You handled this game the way we expected to and wanted to, and let a lot of young people get opportunities to play. And then at the same time, you've got a huge challenge again with another top 10 team next week at Miami to see if we've made progress against a team with a bunch of NFL guys. So, questions?
Great, thanks, Coach. If you have a question, please use the raised hand function. Our first question today will come from Brian Keys.
Hey, Mack, just with it being his last home game, what has Michael Carter meant to the program, since you've been there, but also from what you've heard from other guys who have been around with him the entire 4 years?
Brian Michael is so special off the field. Everybody sees what he is on the field, but he has been the number one guy I've gone to when we were trying to figure out, was it safe with COVID? Were we going to play games? Did the players want to play? Did they feel safe? I would always call or text Michael first and say, give me the pulse. What do you think the guys are thinking? And what questions do they have for me? He was also the leader with all the social justice issues. Again, he was the one that spearheaded everything that we talked about and did. When there were protests all over the country this summer, I called Michael and said, do the guys want to practice? Do they not want to practice? I know there's a lot of pressure right now on everybody. And he said, no, Coach, we want to practice. We're looking at some things we'd like to do, like the video, like the names on the back of the jerseys, but we want to practice. We do not want to be disruptive on this team at all. And Brian, all of that credit goes back to Michael.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go over to Andrew Jones, please.
Hey, Coach, on Wednesday you said that you weren't that pleased with the practices earlier in the week. Did the team close strong this week with the preparation? And did you also get out of this what you were hoping to get out of it with respect to how the main rotation guys played?
Yes, Andrew, yes, and yes. I thought the offense didn't practice as well at times on Tuesday. I thought the defense didn't practice as well at times, some of them, especially the younger ones, on Wednesday, which was pretty much expected. We had really focused practice on Thursday as a team, and then by Friday, the walkthrough last night, we didn't have any redos or do it again, or they were focused and ready to play. So I was not surprised today that they played well.
And as far as the rotation guys, you said you did get everything that you were kind of hoping to get out of this game for them, especially with what you have coming up next week?
Yes, we played like we want to play in every game in the first half, even calling timeout when we had a huge lead to try to stop them and get down and score with a 1-minute offense, because we hadn't played very well at the last 5 minutes of the half on defense for sure, and we did that and thought that was an important message. We had not played very well after turnovers, and there were a couple of turnovers today, and we played well after that, so our sudden change was better. And then at halftime, we sat down, and again, it was unusual for me, and I had to go against my beliefs and say, okay, let's take guys out that can't possibly afford to have hurt for next week, get them rested, and let's play a lot of the other guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next question comes from Greg Barnes.
Hey, Matt, kind of building off of that, once you decided to take the first team guys out, what's the strategy with the offense, with the other guys in the second half? I mean, was it more vanilla, kind of the base offensive stuff, or were you trying to do some interesting things for him?
No, Greg, Phil was told, and he did this, he wanted to run the offense and run it completely. And then the more guys you put in, the less knowledge they have of the entire offense when you get into the third team offensive line. So it limits it some then, but especially when Jacoby went in, we ran the normal offense that we would have run with Sam.
And with Michael Carter and Daz Newsome having big first halves, was that by design, or is that just kind of how things played out on senior day?
No, it's how things played out on senior day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move over to CL Brown.
Hi, Mac. How much of the playing time for backups was you guys evaluating them and, possibly going to earn them time next week? And how much of it was just the reward for the time that they put in, the effort they put in practice and everything like that?
CL, both. There's some guys that aren't going to get to play very much that played today because they just don't have the ability to, or the size, or they're not going to be in our mix ever. And that was a reward for them working hard every day on the scout teams to give us pictures with the team that we play. Other guys, we're constantly evaluate them and told them. I told two young defensive linemen early when they were running the ball, hey, you don't play good today, you're not playing against Miami, so don't come out here and stand around, man. You better compete. And then they started competing much better. So we want them to play at 100% of their ability on every snap, regardless of who they are.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Luke Buxton.
Hey, Coach. First off, congratulations to daughter Catherine on her Jeopardy win last night. I think my mom was more excited about that win than any of me or my two sisters' achievements.
Thanks. Luke. Sally was probably more excited about that than she would be our win today, too.
Second, I know you came back, and you always talk about coming back for the kids and for being a mentor and a role model and for them. So now in your second year, getting to know guys like Tamon or Daz or Michael, to name a few. What does this senior day mean for you and kind of your connection with the kids now, getting to know some of these players for more than just one?
Yeah, Luke, senior days have always been so emotional for me, and I'm an emotional person anyway, but I sit there and think this is the last day they'll ever play in this stadium. And I did that, and it's very, very emotional that they've spent their life's dream was to play here and come here, and then all the games that they have that they go back through the memories, and now they don't get to play ever again. So that was tough. Then we're in COVID, and I thought our administration did an outstanding job of making senior day special when parents can't even be on the field because the NCAA won't let them participate. And then we thought about bringing the parents down and having them on the front row. Well, you got all the students there, and you can't have them together with COVID. So the idea of getting a video message from the parents to each one of them was really, really special. But I'm standing there crying like a baby thinking about it. Talk about Catherine. I love my daughters. I love my sons. And you want to see them do well. And here these parents are talking about their sons playing their last game at home and their careers, and they're graduating. And shoot, I can't even speak to the kids when they're leaving me. And then I walked in to do the pregame talk, and I said, hell, go play. I can't do this. Let's do well. Because it is one of the definitely one of the most emotional days at anybody's time while you're in college.
Thanks, Mac.
Thank you.
All right, over to Ross Martin, please.
Hey, Mac, I was wondering if any young players, freshmen or redshirt freshmen, stood out on defense to you that made plays, and same with the offense. I know you played a variety of running backs that are also pretty young.
Yes, I would think the two young linebackers probably stood out. Asante and Kadri Jackson played most of the second half, so they'll be fun to watch because they played all of the third quarter and I think most of the fourth. And the others have played a lot. I saw Kamen Rucker making some plays, and I thought Dez had his best day today. Des Evans, he ran some things down, and I thought he played better to hold the edge when they were trying to run some stretch plays at him. Those inside guys, all those young ones seem to be playing well, so I'm excited about them. I thought on offense, the two that stood out were the two young backs because they can both really run. They're very fast. And, Robert Gillespie's done such an outstanding job of teaching our backs to protect the ball. We don't have it on the ground very much. But these young ones have to learn to protect. But I do think we've got some good ones committed, and we've got some young ones that are talented. So we've seen Josh, we've seen British a lot. We haven't seen those two very much. And I thought they did not look out of place when we put them in there.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go over to Marymac Porter.
Hi, Coach. Daz Newsome had a big game today. Can you speak a little bit to what he means to this team and to this receiving core?
Yes, great finish for Daz at home, Marymac. He's so quick, and he's just fast. And sometimes he looks little, and you think it's, look at this little guy. And then he just outruns everybody. So he just makes yards. And he has probably improved his ability to catch the ball as much as anybody I've ever been around from the day we got here 2 years ago until today. And he is a factor in about every game. I thought he would get a couple of punts and have a chance to return them today, and he got some yards, but I really thought this might be a chance for him to get him a punt return for a touchdown, and we took him out completely in the second half. But really proud of the way he finished his career at home.
All right, our last one for Coach comes from Devon Wilson.
Okay.
Devon.
Okay, sorry about that. Coach, one thing today, obviously Michael Carter, Williams, they're both two big pieces of your backfield. Moving forward next week against Miami and then into the, the bowl season, how creative will you have to get to, keep other defenses on their toes with those two?
Well, we've been so good, Devin, on offense all year. And then last year, last week, we just went completely flat the second half because Notre Dame just lined up and got after us. And I think that got everybody's attention. So we weren't going to have that happen today because Western's players weren't good enough. But we will be playing a front seven full of NFL guys again next week, like we did last week. So our big challenge is we've had a good year, but we want to step to a national level, and we did that for a half last week, and then we couldn't hang in there. So what will we be like with Miami next week? They've got a quarterback that's really special. They've got a defensive line that's really special. I told our players, I want you to enjoy this win. I want you to enjoy our last home game. I want you to stay free of COVID when you come back in here tomorrow, but I also want you to watch the game tonight with Duke and get somewhere and watch it as a game plan and look at your guy, the guy that you've got to deal with, and make sure that you come in here tomorrow with a mindset that this is a huge game for us. And to see if we are ready to step up to another level. And I think that's what this week's going to be about. We were so close last week and couldn't finish. So are we going to be any better? Are we going to coach any better? Are we going to play any better? Are we going to play any tougher in our front sevens? That's why I love the way this schedule ended up. We had the tough national game. We had the lesser team coming in from the FCS, and now it's time to go back and play 2 top 10 teams in 3 weeks. And that's a perfect way for us to finish. Unlike last year where we were fighting to get an extra game, now we're fighting to try to get a higher ranking and get closer to that top 10.
Thank you,
And let
Coach.
me say, Mark, the last thing too, and I think this is important for everybody, our fans were great today. I thought they were so appreciative of these seniors, and it would have been an easy day not to come. I laughed with Bubba and Rick Steinbacher a few minutes ago and said, hey, we sold out every game, 3,500. But the fans that were there stayed and watched the young guys play. They cheered them on. They sang at the end of the game, and I really want to say that how much I appreciate those fans staying and watching those young guys play. A lot of them will never get in another game, even some of the young ones, unless we have another game like this. But also it's a show of appreciation for what this team's done over the last 2 years. And the last thing, Ross asked early in the week about how would we play the young ones. You don't really know. I mean, you know, they started, it was really interesting. Their game plan was obviously to snap the ball with 3 seconds left, run the ball, slow the game down, limit the possessions that we had. If it's a 21-7 or 10 game at halftime, then you can't play them. And then Toe Groves fumbles, and then they're driving it down the field again. You never know in these games. So I'm just glad that it worked out the way that we thought it would and the way that we hoped it would. And hopefully we're getting to a point in our program now where in these type games, we dominate the game and everybody does get to play, and then it's not in question.
Great. Coach, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you all.